many of his old friends, including myself. And then something for me changed pretty profoundly. I became more involved with computers and learning, and influenced by Seymour, but particularly looking at learning as something that is best approximated by computer programming. When you write a computer program, you've got to not just list things out and sort of take an algorithm and translate it into a set of instructions, but when there's a bug, and all programs have bugs, you've got to debug it. You've got to go in, change it, and then re-execute, and you iterate. And that iteration is really very, very good approximation of learning. So that led to my own work with Seymour in places like Cambodia and the starting of one laptop per child. Enough TED Talks on one laptop per child, so I'll go through it very fast. But it did give us the chance to do something at a relatively large scale in the area of learning, development, and computing. Very few people know that one laptop per child was a $1 billion project. It was, at least over the 7 years I ran it. But even more important, the World Bank contributed zero, USAID zero. It was mostly the countries using their own treasuries, which was very interesting. At least to me, it was very interesting in terms of what I plan to do next. So these are the various places it happened. I then tried an experiment. And the experiment happened in Ethiopia. And here's the experiment. The experiment is, can learning happen where there are no schools? And we dropped off tablets with no instructions and let the children figure it out. And in a short period of time, they not only turned them on and were using 50 apps per child within 5 days, they were singing ABC songs within 2 weeks, but they hacked Android within 6 months. And so that seems sufficiently interesting. This is perhaps the best picture I have. The kid on your right is sort of nominated himself as teacher. Look at the kid on the left, and so on. There's no adults involved in this at all. So I said, well, can we do this at a larger scale? And what is it that's missing? He's giving a press conference at this point. He's sort of writing in the dirt. And the answer is, what is missing? And I'm going to skip over my predictions, actually, because I'm running out of time. And here's the question. What's going to happen? I think the challenge is to connect the last billion. And connecting the last billion is very different than connecting the next billion. And the reason it's different is that the next billion are sort of low-hanging fruit, but the last billion are rural. Being rural and being poor are very different. Poverty tends to be created by our society. And the people in that community are not poor in the same way anymore. They may be primitive, but the way to approach it, to connect them, the history of one laptop per child and the experiment in Ethiopia lead me to believe that we can, in fact, do this in a very short period of time. And so my plan, and unfortunately I haven't been able to get my partners at this point, let me announce them, but is to do this with a stationary satellite. That there are many reasons that stationary satellites aren't the best things. But there are a lot of reasons why they are. And for $2 billion, you can connect a lot more than 100 million people. But the reason I picked